Hey Biscuits, welcome back to the channel. So I want to talk about something that's been on my mind, all of lockdown, right, is how to alleviate or how to relieve some of this stress that we're all going through. I have heard from a whole bunch of you on Patreon and on Instagram that August has been a really difficult month for everybody. And that it's just kind of really wearing us all down, right? We've kind of hit the point with everything that's been going on in the world where we're like, is enough already? What is going on? So I thought I would talk about ways that I have found that help me, and I'm still trying to find ways because I find that the further into lockdown we have been and just stuff that's happened, maybe because of lockdown or just that's happened in life, the last month has been super stressful for me. So I've really been trying to look at myself. What are good coping mechanisms? What are ways to let me appreciate what I'm going through, but then try to relieve some of that stress, to lessen the anxiety that comes with it, right? First thing that I think is so important is having people that you can digitally reach out to. People that you can text, people that you can video call. I think that as the months have gone on, people aren't following up with each other as much as they were in the beginning, right? Like the first month or two with COVID, everybody was, checking in on each other and seeing how you're doing. I'll do little mental health check-ins sometimes on Instagram with everybody because, I generally worry about everyone that right now we've kind of gotten to that fatigue point of everything that's going on in the world, and it can be easy to forget to reach out to the people closest to you that maybe you can't see in person right now, and kind of check in, and see how is their mental health doing? How is their emotional state? It really helps, I find, to just have somebody to complain to make jokes to, just to talk to, right? That can be really important. We've been in pretty hefty lockdown still because, we've had big spikes in our area and we just don't know what's going on right now. There's a lot of confusion. So that's been something that is super helpful. And I think maybe because everybody has corona fatigue that it's easy to forget about. And a second thing that I've been dealing with is the longer this goes on, the more panicky I'll get wearing a mask out in public. And that's kind of multiple reasons behind that, I think, for me. I get more and more anxious being out, and when there's a spike, then I become anxious, and it's easy for me, I'm severely claustrophobic, not a little bit, severely. And I've had a lot of breathing problems this year with my asthma and my allergies anyway, so it's just kind of exacerbated all that. So what I've been doing when I'm out in public and I start to feel really panicky about the mask, or I'm having a hard time catching my breath because I'm feeling panicky and anxious, is I really try to do that centering kind of practice that I've talked about on here before, where you're really trying to be tactile with your environment. You're feeling what's around you. Maybe you're keeping your hands together. You're touching your shopping cart, right? But those are really important. Hey, Biscuit, I love you. Because, it is important that we're all wearing masks, right? Like until a therapeutic, some kind of treatment comes up that's good for people that works, or some kind of vaccine or something happens where, right, like we aren't having to hide from this ridiculous virus so much. It is really important. And, and I set an example with Abraham. We both wear masks when we go out. We talk about why it's important too. But definitely I get that anxiety from it. And that's been going up and up the more I have to wear it. Especially if I have to be out for prolonged periods of time. Maybe there's several things I have to do. That can be really difficult. So definitely grounding, centering exercises when you are feeling that acute anxiety related to all of this crazy lockdown stuff. And that goes too for when you're home, right? If you aren't taking care of yourself and having self-care time, and I mean self-care both physically and mentally, right? If you aren't having that self-care time, like I have definitely had moments during this crazy year where I have not put the time in. I just haven't felt well enough, or I've been too caught up and too busy, or I've been too worried about work with everything that's going on. And I really feel when I don't give myself the space to do self-care, that it affects my whole way that I'm able to be productive. It affects how friendly and nice I am, right? It really does. So learning what outlets work for you. What are forms of self-care that you find relaxing? Is it reading a book? Is it taking a bath? Is it getting to cook? You know, if you're a parent, getting to just cook in a relaxed environment, that could be a real luxury, right? And sometimes you have to just give the kids a craft and accept they're going to be messy. Let them watch a movie, have your partner watch the kids, so that you can have those moments of self-care that during lockdown are especially important, because since we're all hitting this fatigue wall of corona fatigue, and we're all just feeling really stressed and pushed down by it, whether it's personally affected you or not, right? Just the environment that's going on around us right now. I really think that taking that self-care time is so important. You know, I was talking about finding levity and humor this month. That was a big theme on my Patreon. Is it's really important to be able to still laugh and still have good humor. And I've found that I've gotten to a point of grumpiness the last week or so where like I was having a really hard time finding anything to even watch on TV to distract myself. So I would just buzz around the internet and like, you know, circle in on all the bad news or the comparisons or the, you know, it wasn't good for me, right? You know, it wasn't a smart thing. And so what I had to find is forms of entertainment that were engaging for me, that let my mind kind of turn off a little bit. And that's really important. That's something that's really helped me a great deal. Or finding movies, or, you know, I listened this spring to a ton of audiobooks when this first all started. Finding ways to let my mind be quiet and still. And that might be meditation for you, right? I have a hard time with meditation. Love it, but it's hard when you have kids at home that want your attention constantly, right? It's hard to then have that quiet meditation, which again, it goes back to the self-care, right? Is you've got to tend to your mental well-being and your physical well-being during all of this, because it is so easy to get lost. Like, we're all going back to school, and you know, right now that's a cluster fluffer doodle of no one knows what's going on. We don't, school district doesn't. A lot of people are trying homeschool for the first time. And it's very chaotic, and it's really easy to have that chaos spread into your mental health, right? And just be like, oh, well, I can't help it. That's just, you know, I'm just going to be stressed right now. I'm just going to be super anxious. And I don't think anybody should just white knuckle it and suffer through extreme anxiety or stress. It's bad for us. And I know I struggle with that. I definitely come from a family that is very much, you don't complain about your feelings, you don't talk about your feelings, you don't talk about your mental health, you don't talk about your physical health. You just power through and you get through life, right? It's like the Germanic way from my family. So I really learned in adulthood, there's a lot of value to saying when you need help. You know, I will message all my siblings on a group Facebook or a group text message like, oh my gosh, I'm having a really rough day. Will you, you know, send me a meme? Will you chat with me? Somebody give me a phone call. I just need to talk to somebody, right? It's that simple. Abraham was talking to grandparents on the phone. All of a sudden, he just called them. And that can sometimes be all I need, right? But I really believe that, you know, the more I hear from everybody about how much people are hitting just that fatigue of everything that's going on, that so many people don't know how to feel comfortable saying they need the space for self-care, saying they need help, saying that they need ways to cope or to handle or to get through anxiety or stress, right? And there's nothing bad in needing to go through that, right? Like, really good parents get stressed about parenting. Really good people get stressed about life. Really good business people get stressed about business. All the things that are happening to people right now, I think it's really reasonable that that's occurring. Even if a lot of our society doesn't give us the space to respect that. So it's really valuable, right? That's why I thought, oh, we'll just come on here and chatter about it, because I hope that it all reminds us that it's good to seek out the help that you need, the things that will help you, the routines, the changes in your thought process, right? Ways to make you happier, even if you're living in a really anxious time, right? I think it's totally doable. Okay, I'm gonna pop off here because somebody's on the phone.
We're doing work again, doing a video.
He's complaining, he doesn't want me to keep doing work. Okay, I'm gonna say, see you in the next video, biscuits. I would love it if you scrolled on through, T-shop in the merch line, down in the description box. I will see you in the next video. I hope that even if you don't take any of the things that work for me, that it reminds you to find the things that work for you to lower that anxiety level, lower that stress level, right? that there's totally ways you can come up with, you can ask others to help you come up with, that'll make you happy. Because that's the goal, right? Happy mama, happy family. See you in the next video.